Yeah, you heard me right. Do not get his Hypercharge. Angelo is still broken even without it. He's already one of the hardest brawlers to kill. One reason for this is that he's tankier than most snipers. It doesn't even matter though since he's so fast. He's able to easily juke shots against enemies. He can also just choose whether or not to engage them. That's not to mention his ability to cross over water. This lets him easily separate himself from enemies. It also gives him more access to walls for himself. And if that wasn't enough, he can also jump over them. He can quickly end 1v1s up close using nearby cover. This comes in handy to avoid heavy damage. He can also escape from assassins throwing out attacks. It even drains them of their health up close. This gives him a huge advantage in 1v1s. If he's losing, he can shake off enemies to heal up. Or if not, he can hop over walls to chase them down. But why do that when you can shoot through them? This lets him pick off enemies from anywhere. It's basically Mania's gadget with more damage, except it can actually pierce through multiple targets. This also counts for spawnables that can block his attacks. There's no real way to avoid him once he's charged up. His attacks can deal a whopping 4k damage on hit. Despite an average DPS, that's still pretty deadly. It's enough to two-shot anyone who isn't a tank, and he can easily delete snipers in one blow. It's still dangerous to get hit by even after the damage nerf. He doesn't even have to fully charge up all the time. Since he has a single ammo bar, he can spam his attacks. He can constantly chip his opponents if needed. This lets him easily kill low enemies up close. He can also wall peek anyone too close to him. Once charged up, he can come in and out safely. If he ends up missing, he can easily recharge quickly. This leaves little punishment but still a high reward. He can also hold his attack infinitely and save it for later. It does prevent Angelo from self-healing. However, he can just attack from a safe distance. With this range, he can exert a lot of area pressure. One hit can already force enemies to retreat. This makes him dangerous since you lose map control. He becomes even more menacing with his super. You can easily deny your self-healing with one arrow. This also detects enemies trying to hide in bushes. These ticks can rack up serious damage over time. It's also deadly up close thanks to the puddle itself. This can block off areas from the constant damage. Angelo can even heal himself if he stays on top of it. This lets him safely attack without losing map control. He can feel invincible since his super lasts so long. However, this forces him to stick to one spot. This lets enemies easily play around it and time it out, is what I would say before his Hypercharge happened. This allows him to poison his enemies from anywhere. He can also keep them away with his moving puddles, and he'll always be healing up with it following him. He's even harder to kill with the speed stat boost. Meanwhile, the damage boost makes him even deadlier. Adding on poison, he can basically two-shot anyone. That would be busted until you see the charge rate. It takes 12 charge shots or about 4 supers. This can take the entire match just to even get it. And I think we all know how hard it is for Fang. Both Hypercharges solve their biggest weakness. However, they're also not necessary to stay viable. Before, Angelo was already a top 3 brawler. That's because he has a strong answer to everything. This leaves little to no counterplay when facing him. Avoiding his super would still give away map control. Having control of the entire game is what makes him so strong. And it's why you shouldn't buy his Hypercharge at all. Instead, get Pipers and become a full-on assassin.